Hi, I'm Louis Belknap with EZFrost, and we're here today to talk about the preparation and setup of the EZFrost machine to get it ready for your customers to use. So first, we're going to start with filling the frosting bags with frosting. To do this, we have a fill canister and the bags that you'll be putting the frosting into. So first, you want to open the bag a little bit, put it down in the fill canister, spread it out over the fill canister, and you want to make sure that to start with you pull it down all the way down on the bottom so that the opening for the bag is right up near the top. You don't want to start with the bag all the way at the bottom. So once you have the bag in the fill canister, then you'll begin to fill it with icing. And you can either use your own frosting that you've prepared yourself, or you can use frosting that you purchase from an outside vendor. Either way, you'll take the frosting out of the container that it's in and put it into the frosting bag. You'll fill the frosting bag all the way up with frosting. Once the bag of frosting is full, and again there's a mark on the canister, and you'll want to fill it up to that mark or maybe even slightly or above it. And you'll want to kind of tap it down to get the air bubbles out of it. And then bring the edges of the bag up. Fold the bag over the top to seal off the frosting. And then you can put a cover on top of it. And you can store the frosting either in a cooler, if that's where you normally store your frosting, or if it's shelf-stable frosting, you can store it on your shelf. And this way you can have a number of pre-filled bags ready to go so that you can keep your frosting machine working throughout the day. Next, we'll talk about how to set up the machine and how to use the frosting bags in the machine and get everything ready for the customer. Okay, so now that you have your bags of icing filled, we're ready to go ahead and get the machine ready, set it up so that the customers can come in and decorate their own cupcake. So to start with, we're going to take the slide plate, which is this here, and we're going to install it in the machine. To do that, lift it, tip it up, put the tabs under there, slide it back till the notches fall over the pins, and then pull it forward and it's locked in place. Next, we want to put the tip adapter together and put it on the slide plate. It's extremely important to recognize that the tip adapter has a very sharp tip in it. This sharp tip is what's used to puncture the bag so that the icing can flow out of the bottom of the bag. So when you take it apart, you can see the sharp tip there, and you need to be extremely careful. To assemble it, push it inside and push it up, being careful not to put your hand on this end. Screw the collar on, and it doesn't need to be real tight, but you want to get it kind of snug. Then pull it down so that the tip is no longer sticking out. We're ready to go ahead and put it on the slide plate and put on the decorating tip. These decorating tips are the same that you use on your piping bag today. There's nothing proprietary about them. So they're the large size. You can get them from Wilton or any other decorating tip supplier. Slide the tip down inside of the collar that's going to hold it on the tip adapter. Hold down on the tip adapter and screw this on. And you don't need to go real tight with it. You just want to get it kind of snug. If you go too tight with it, you can start cracking the collar here, so we don't want to do that. So now that you've got this all assembled, we're ready to go ahead and put our frosting bag in the dispensing canister. So we'll get one of the frosting bags that you've already filled, pull it out of the plastic container, and you'll notice on the bottom of the bag that there's a seam that goes across the bottom. We want to make sure that that seam does not line up with where the frosting will come out in the bottom of the dispensing canister. So we want to get that crosswise in there, put it down in here, fold the top of the plastic over good so that the icing won't squeeze out the top, and then put the pressure plate on it. When we put the pressure plate on, we want to make sure that we get it down fairly level. We don't want it at an angle in there. And you'll also notice then when you look at the bottom of the dispensing canister, there's not a seam across that hole. So it's important to check that. In terms of how full the bag is, when you put the pressure plate on top, you want it to be a little ways down inside the dispensing canister, but you don't want it way down in there. So this is about a good size for how full the frosting bag should be. So now that we've got that all put together, we're going to take and we're going to install this. Slide your pressure plate out, or your slide plate out again. Install this. Line up the nozzle there with the tip adapter, and then slide it back in. Now we're ready to go ahead and get icing flowing down out through the tip, so when the customer comes up, everything is ready to go. To do that, you can take the lid or a small container and put under the bottom here just to catch the first frosting that comes out. What you want to do is you want to push the tip adapter up, and what this does is it pushes up that sharp tool and punctures a hole in the bag so that the icing can come out. Now that we've got that up, we're going to hit the start button several times, which will bring the ram down and apply pressure to the bag and force the icing out. You may have to press it several times since the ram has to come down a little ways before it makes contact with the pressure plate. When it gets down to where it's starting to apply pressure, you'll notice that this will pop down. So now we can take that frosting off of there. We've got the ram down on the pressure plate, applying pressure. We've got frosting clear down through the decorating tip. So the next time a customer comes up and pushes the start button, it's going to dispense the frosting on top of their cupcake. Okay, so that's all there is to the preparation and setup of the EZFrost machine. I'm confident that before long you'll be able to set up your own machine very quickly and very easily. This will allow your customers to come in and decorate their own cupcake using the EZFrost machine at the Decorate Your Own Cupcake bar.